Hey everyone, we'd like to do a walkthrough of one of the skulls that shows extreme modification. So marine mammals such as whales and porpoises will have their nasal openings, their external nares, up near their forehead for their blowhole for easier breathing, while the rest of their body is underwater. The bones of the skull have stretched and compressed to accommodate this modification. So let's take a look. Going through to point out some of the parts of the skull, some of the bones. We have the premaxilla, which is really long, and front of the face, premaxilla, maxilla, and if you keep following the suture, there's no break in the suture. It goes all the way up the front and side of what appears to be its forehead, but this is still maxilla. Maxilla holding most of the teeth. As we go up, again, this is still premaxilla. There's a bit of a color change, but that's just because of age and wear on the bone. External nares are up on the forehead, as you would expect from a porpoise. The nasal bones have been compressed, so they are very short. They are still above the nares. Nasal bones right here. Above that, we have the frontal bone coming all the way down and around to form part of that orbit. Just like we do in a regular critter, where we have the frontal bone forming that upper part of the orbit. This is all frontal. We still see that here in the porpoise. Frontal, 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 frontal. The parietal bone has actually been pushed down to the sides of the skull, and what we see here is that remainder of the interparietal bone compressed into a small triangle. And then the entire back of the skull that we can see here is the occipital bone. Massive. So as we go down, we're looking for that division. Here there's a bit of a chip, division of the temporal bone, which then has our zygomatic process of the temporal. And in the eye socket, you can see a bit of that, the sphenoid complex coming through here. Since I forgot to say it in sequence, the parietal bones are on the sides of the skull. They've been pushed down into the sides. So I wanted to make sure to point that out here. But there's a lot of damage to this particular skull, so it's kind of hard to delineate more on the ventral side of the skull. Pretty cool. Thanks for listening. Talk to y'all later.